If someone gives you a different kind of love than the kind you were really hoping for, is it still possible to accept it and be happy with it? That's the question I'm going to be asking today. I'll just ask you to do a little favor. If you use iTunes or Apple Podcasts and you enjoy this podcast, go ahead and give a great review using the Apple Podcasts app. That's all I ask for. Let's begin.
This is a beautiful thought.
Welcome, beautiful thinkers. Welcome to this world, to this reality, to a bright, shining ray of hope directed deep into your third eye like a laser beam coming from Andromeda. Welcome. Welcome to you. Let's talk about embracing love in all its forms. Now, you might imagine a man like me has a few stories about love, a few wonderings and ponderings, thoughts and imaginative abilities on the subject, emotional experiences. So I remember I was in England and there was a young lady who I liked very much. Let's call her River. And as it happened, she had a boyfriend, and I knew I was only going to be in the country for a few months, so it didn't make sense for me to start a relationship. Well, one day, I went to see her, and after she left the cafe, I sat down and started writing in my notebook. And I was amazed to find this outpouring of emotion, this love. I was suddenly writing a love letter, and I hadn't even realized it. When I finished the letter, well, I wrote a couple of drafts, and I thought, this is one of the best things I've ever written. I like to live by standards. One of the standards I live by is if I have something nice in my mind, a nice thought, then I want to say it. So I do my best to say something nice if it occurs to me. And the nicer the thought, the more important it is to say it. Having this love letter in my hands, I debated a little bit, but I remember when I got to the letterbox, it was almost automatic, like I'd made the decision long ago. Now, as it happened, this love letter wasn't fondly received. I mean, River had a boyfriend, so it was a bit strange for me to be sending her love letters. But this love letter wasn't an expression of selfish love. It was more this sort of divine love, or unconditional love, without much egotism or selfishness to it. When I sent it, she was quite disturbed by it. She told me later that what had happened, sitting there with this love letter from me on her desk, and her boyfriend walked in. She said it was like a scene from a movie. After that, she stopped talking to me for a long time. 9 months later, she told me she'd kept that letter in a little tin on her desk. She pulled it out one day and read it. And she told me, this was really beautiful, what you said there. Now, it's funny because it was an expression of love. She wasn't ready to receive it. It seemed unusual. It was unusual. I thought it was unusual. And even so, I thought it was right to express it. And over time, the truth of that love was revealed, even to her, and she understood what I was trying to express. I remember another case. I was in Chile, And I bet this lovely lady, let's call her Estrella. And after a couple of weeks of meeting her, it was a little strange. We'd get very intensely involved, and I said I was looking for a new Airbnb. After having seen her, I don't know, maybe 4 times, she said, "Come stay with me." I was like, "Really? Are you sure you want to do this?" And she's like, "Yeah, come stay with me." And I went and stayed with her, and we had a great time, and I would cook for her, and we'd get into a lot of arguments, and we're both quite headstrong people. She has a lot of opinions, and I have a lot of opinions. I wanted to continue my journey through Latin America, continue exploring the world. And she knew when I arrived that I was going to leave. But when it came time to leave, she said, "Stay." And I did stay a little longer. I stayed another week, put off taking my bus to Mendoza. But in the end, I said, I'm going to go. I'm going to go do what a man does. And she said, "How can you say that you love me, or that you care for me, when you're going to go? It's a contradiction." I said, "Very well, it's a contradiction. Igualmente, voy a ir. Even so, I'm going to go. And even so, I care for you." And it's not really a contradiction. The thing is, she had a very set idea of what love was, very black and white. Either you love me completely and you stay here with me, even get married with me, or you go, and that means that you don't love me, and that means that you never loved me. Now, that puts you in a difficult position if you think about things in that way. And that's why I say embrace love in all its forms. People aren't necessarily going to love you in exactly the way that you expect, or exactly the way that you want, or exactly the way that you love them. When I was in Colombia, I went to see my ex-girlfriend. Let's call her Cielo. So I cared for her very much, and before I left, we had some tender moments, intimate moments emotionally, I mean. And she did tell me in a certain way that she cared for me very much, and I said the same. As I was leaving Medellin, I was very emotional. I was very sad to be saying goodbye to her. When I was on the bus to Bogota, it must have been like 1 a.m, I started writing a message to her, and I said, "Listen, I've loved you for years. I love you now. I can't tell you the future, but I think it's likely that I will always love you. And I don't know what your goals are. I can't say if they align with mine. They probably don't. But I think I'll regret it if I don't ask you this humble question. Will you marry me?" And she didn't respond right away. I thought, well, I'll leave her to think about this or consider her response. In the morning, she did send me a message. She said, "Thank you for your love, this unselfish love, and thank you for caring about me despite the distance. And thank you for sharing your feelings with me in this way. in the end, she said that she wouldn't marry me. But she said that her home was always open to me. And it's a beautiful thing when someone shares their home with you. It's a beautiful form of love. And while I was a little sad about not quite reaching my highest expectations in this path, I was glad and I embraced love in this wonderful form. Embrace love in all its forms. Embrace love when people love you in different ways, when people show you the way they care, through their speech, through their actions, the things they do for you, through their tenderness, their touch. Embrace love in all its forms. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for thinking beautifully and thinking outside the box and opening your mind to the bright, shining light of the heavens that comes down through your Sahasrara chakra. And have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
A beautiful thought.
Thank you for listening. So just like I said at the top, please, if you use Apple Podcasts or iTunes, please give me a great review if you are enjoying the podcast. Go ahead on Apple Podcasts or iTunes and rate highly this podcast. It helps me boost the ratings and get these ideas exposed to more people so they can enjoy it and learn from it as well. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.